Good evening, folks. It's John, the firearms instructor, and welcome to our live. I'm glad you're here this evening. Looks like we got 7 people live right now. We are live on our YouTube channel. We are live on our Facebook page and through my business page and through my regular Facebook, uh, my personal page. And we are glad you're here this evening. We've got a good live this evening. Um, I can tell you that we work hard on putting these all together for you, and this one here is going to be fun. It's the 10 health benefits of shooting. And you know I am looking like the healthiest guy in the world, anyways, with this. And when your doctor tells you you need to be doing a little bit more exercising, you could tell him you're shooting because I'm going to give you 10 benefits tonight of shooting a pistol or doing any kind of shooting activity at all. So you know the deal. If you're on the live this evening, I would ask you to comment and let us know where you're from. And if it's your first time, we would appreciate that as well. If you're watching it through our Facebook page, just put FB in front of your comment. And obviously, if you're watching it through YouTube, you can do YT. And then if you watch it after the fact, you can just put rewatched. And if you're watching it live, you can do live for me. It would help me out tremendously. We look at every comment. We make sure that we are responding to every comment. If you have the ability to support us in any way possible, uh, those like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, or anything, especially if you are on the YouTubeish. And if you are physically watching it through Facebook, you most likely are following me anyways. But if not, you can always share this and send it off to friends and family that aren't, and they can find us. Who am I? I am a firearms trainer in Cape Coral, Florida, and I teach people to shoot on a regular basis. We are a firearms training facility in beautiful Cape Coral, and we specialize in you taking you to the next level. Some people have never shot before. Like, we had a couple customers today. The very first time they shot a pistol was today, and that's my avatar. If you know the world of the internet, the YouTube, and all that stuff, they are always talking about trying to build these videos, build these classes, build everything for a perfect avatar, and someone who is new to shooting is that. So we want to hold your hand through the process. We are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Range time is every day from 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. to close, Monday through Thursday. And then Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, we are open range time all day. We are at $25 for up to 2 people for 1 hour, and we give you free targets. So if you're in the Cape Coral, North Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, all the way up to, I've got people from Naples and all over coming to shoot with us. We'd love to have you. Don't need a reservation. All we have 5 active lanes back there on a regular basis, and we do have memberships. And you can always call and stop by and check that out. We are handgun caliber only, but we do have frangible 223 that you can shoot your ARs here as well. Looks like someone has commented already, so we're going to look at that real quick. Matthew Wise. Hey, Matt. Hi. How are you, buddy? I'm glad you're on. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Thank you very much. Matt Wise is off of Facebook. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, so I think we're going to get right to this tonight because this is going to give me a little bit more information. We kind of introduced myself and everything else. We are an active range tonight, so there are going to be people shooting. So you may hear some gunshots in the background, but we are an active range. Now we are inside our office, so pretty muted. You won't hear much, but it could happen. We have full backup tonight. Last week, had to get up and leave the camera for about 10 minutes to handle a customer, but Jacob and one of the other guys are here tonight, so I'm all yours. and you're all mine, and we appreciate you being here. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to add this, and I am going to make it full screen that we can look at it. Now, I want you to be right up front. Yeah, I took a lot of this information from the interwebs, and I wanted to kind of give you the 10 health benefits of shooting a firearm. Now, like I said before, when you go to the doctor always says two things. He always looks at your weight and says, "Woo, you're getting heavier and heavier." And then, or he says, "Woo, you need to do some kind of exercise." And when he's thinking about exercise, he's thinking about running and he's thinking about lifting weights and he's thinking about all that stuff. All you got to do is tell him one thing: I shoot. And if you shoot a firearm, or it could be a pistol or a rifle, you are doing some exercise. And I don't know if any of you guys know this, these 10 benefits, but we're going to cover each one of them tonight and make sure that you have this that you can download to give to your doctor, because when your doctor says shooting's not a health benefit, we can prove him wrong. All right. And trust me, I'm a firearms instructor slash health benefit guy. Look at me. I am that guy. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the first one. Benefit number one is core strength. Now, you guys know when you're out there shooting, you have to use some kind of balance and core strength to keep you on the balls of your feet. You're still, the shooting stance itself is centered into a feng shui situation with your weights on both feet. You want to roll to the balls of your feet as much as possible and get yourself out there over top. That stance and being able to hold your abdominal muscles to keep your strength and power, that's going to help tremendously. Your abdominal muscles, if they're weak, your lower back holds additional pressure and from weight on a simple task like walking. I could tell you this: many years of working in the paint business prior to me getting into the gun business, I was a paint salesman. Before, as a paint salesman, I worked inside of a paint store lifting 5-gallon buckets. So my back has been destroyed as a young man, and my back is not always uh, given me the best benefits at all. But when you actually use some abdominal strength and core, it does help tremendously. So, benefit number one would be core strength. And that's all your abdominal muscles, your back muscles, all the way to your feet. We always talk about a foundation starts at your feet and goes to the gun. If you kind of think about those 2 feet shoulder width apart, balance your weight on both feet and pushing that gun out towards the target and tightening up your chest muscles, gentlemen. If you use your pecs to control the weapon, you're going to work a lot better. For the ladies, remember we always talk about using your back muscles by pushing and pulling as well. When you're pushing and pulling like that on the firearm, which we've got plenty of videos on our YouTube channel, especially benefits for ladies that we have there, that I would highly recommend you watch some of those videos. But that pushing and pulling will allow you to work that core strength as well. So number one, core strength. All right, let's go to the next one. I took a picture of my arm later earlier today, and obviously I was a little veiny, but this is definitely a picture of my arm. I would not lie about that. Arm strength. You need to have some arm strength. It's very amazing to me when we come to the range and we've got some elderly people who are shooting a pistol for the very first time, and and they've got the gun out in front of them. They don't realize how much weight has to be, how much strength you need to control the weapon and keep it level, right? Your sturdy arms and your hands, in order to aim and shoot a target, you must hold your upper body steady. And that adds into the core, that adds into everything else. And all for a new shooter doesn't realize arm muscles need to be held to get the proper stance to shoot accurately. So, arm strength is one of those things. 100%, you're going to need a little bit of that. You don't need to be a muscle man, obviously. We've got, I think last week, she was 81. Yeah, 81. I believe she was 81. She was in the 80s. Let's just say that, and she came and shot perfectly. So you don't need to be a muscle man to shoot. You just need to be able to control the weapon. I gave that young lady, I said, listen, ma'am, you need to press and pull. And when she started doing all that, she tightened up her groups tremendously. Of course, she was shooting the Smith and Wesson EZ, and that easy makes it very easy for her to load and rack and do everything herself. Her husband passed away 2 years ago, and she decided that she needs to protect herself. So she did. She came in and she's running perfectly there. So that's kind of the cool thing there. Obviously, arm strength is one of those deals. Your doctor saying you need to work out. Obviously, you do work out if you shoot. All right. Benefit number three is mental processing. What do we have to? What do you mean mental process? We're shooting. Come on, hey, get some brain in you, right? Think about the best way to make the shot, mathematics, the distance, how far it is, the maintenance of working the gun, creative thinking. All the stuff is involved in shooting. It's just not numb minding, be out there banging. We got to make sure we get the proper grip and the proper stance and the proper trigger control, and just slowly get better and better and better. There's mathematics involved, there's shooting involved, but your brain is working, it's functioning through this whole process. The mental process, the efficiency of solving any major uh, c- components of shooting. It encompasses logic, uh, the best way to make the shot, mathematics, targets, distance, how to hold to adjust the point of aim, as well as managing the number of rounds in a magazine and target requiring a hit, and creative thinking. Uh, to be successful in a shooting sport, the athlete must be able to address the mental task at hand and then perform a physical task. So benefit number three would be mental processing. All right, beautiful. Now, obviously, you guys can make comments on these if you think I'm a little whack on one or the other. We would love to hear what you guys use when you are at the range and everything else. Like, we'd love to hear some comments. Benefit number four is drilling. Now, if you haven't shot before, and most people have it, when you're just holding the firearm alone, even before firing it or competing with it, can be exhilarating experience. Adrenaline boosts your immune system. I looked that up, and increases your heart rate, which helps tremendously get your blood flowing through your body. The more blood flowing through your body keeps your body warm. The warmer the body, the easier it is for you to maintain your strength. The drilling is a real cool little deal. It does build up. It makes you feel comfortable, and it's kind of exciting. Drilling happens to everybody. It is a drilling dump, when you're back there, and you just feel so alive. And it's funny when we get done shooting classes, I always have the people, and they kind of like, "Whew, that was intense." They're coming down. It's like a high basically once they get that back there because they built it up to be this crazy. I'm gonna shoot a deadly weapon today. And then at the end of it, once they get their maintenance and once they get the system we give them and everything else, it just goes away from them. They just say, "Oh man, I made this so much more difficult than it had to be, and thanks to you," obviously they say, uh, "that you made it so simple for me." So benefits number four is that adrenaline. All right. Benefits of number five is mental focus. Keeping your keeping your eyes focused on the front sight, rear sight, target blurry requires a lot of concentration. That whole thing there puts it all together. You got to really mentally think about what you're doing. It's not a mindless dump of rounds back there. This is why I always tell everybody stick to 5 rounds at a time. When you stick to 5 rounds at a time, you're going to be more, you're going to get more out of that than you are running 15 or 20 rounds at a time. We always talk about that 5 round count gives you so much of discipline to keep you from having to put too much round. Because think about that, if you get 17 rounds in a pistol, and you're putting 17 rounds down range. How many of those rounds you think were going to be as accurate as the first five? And most of the time, if you kind of think about your first five, the most accurate, and your last five, the last 10, are just along for the ride, right? Even having the mental effect, the mental focus of how to engage a trigger, right? A slow press versus a heavy press, being able to focus on the reset of the trigger, the managing the recoil, following along with your sights, help you call the shot. Focus on your mind on any other activities and distractions result in perfect peak performance. What's up? Hang on a second. Someone's at the door. I didn't know it. Someone's coming to the door. I wanted to make sure they were there. All right, mental focus. So mental focus is one of those things you got to make sure you get your head around. All right, let's hit the next one. Stamina. Now, obviously, we don't have a lot of running here at our store, but I kind of think about if you're getting in any kind of competition, or you're out deer hunting, or you're just out doing some running and gunning, basically. Running through stages like the IDPA, carrying ammo around your waist and your chest. In some cases, slinging a rifle while slinging a rifle, holding a shotgun, uh, in intensive weight training. Athletes that compete in a run and gun situation. That's like the three guns. They shoot pistols, they shoot rifles, they shoot shotguns. Enormous, fast running, things like that. You could be working through uneven territory, terrain, challenge, practice shooting, fitness, stamina, all that stuff. So the stamina itself is one of those deals. I would tell you, it takes a little bit to get going, but once you got it, you can see that you're going to be get through the 100 rounds, 150 rounds with no issue there. Focusing on your front sight, thinking about your trigger press and controlling your breathing. All this stuff has to do with you getting the stamina you need to stay involved. You'd be surprised how many people come to the range that haven't shot before, and within three magazines or four magazines, they're ready to quit. They're ready to have had enough. Well, technically, we've only got halfway through the training. You know what I mean? So that's kind of one of those deals that we try to get them. The more you do it, obviously, the more you're going to be shooting, the more shooting you're going to be able to do, the longer you're going to be able to be up there shooting, and your stamina. We always joke and kid about that, but some of the older people don't have not stood for a long period of time, haven't stand in one place for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. These are things that you got to work on. You got to get yourself into. We all know that time you get sick and you lay in bed for 24 hours. How bad do you feel once the next day is? I know I have to get out and get around and walk around, do a lot of different stuff because the more sedative we are, the more challenging it becomes for us. So stamina is one of those things. Benefit number seven is stress relief. Now this is 100% one of those deals where when the guy comes in, they've had a shitty week. There's nothing you can say about that. It does take some of that off you, man. When you go back there and you're able to just blast some rounds. I know preach about don't blast rounds, but sometimes it's kind of nice just to get back there and just put those rounds down range. I think I got a gunshot thing here. Let's see here. Just blast away. It's part of that deal. Sometimes that's good. It does take a little bit. Shooting allows a person to get away from the worries of the day. How true is that? If you put it aside other thoughts while you're having a gun in your hand, concentrate on safety, mental process, and physical skill. At the time at the range, time at the range allows an athlete a temporary forgetfulness of problems and plans in life, and solely in the moment. It works as a reset button to manage stress. How beautiful is that? That's what I do for fishing. I get out, because I have the stress here at work, trying to make sure everything's doing it. People come to shoot. They're always back here, the renting lanes, and I have to deal with all that stuff. So my little stress relief is popping a fishing rod, finding a little lake somewhere, and just trying to catch a fish or two. That's my reset each time. But shooting can be a reset. I highly recommend it. It does help you out tremendously, and it is one of those things where you got to make sure that you have the muscle memory involved in keeping this thing going, because a lot of times if you don't shoot on a regular basis, it's diminishing, you know what I mean? And you're going to lose some of these effects. So, number 7 would be stress relief. How true is that? Benefit number 8 is vision. Exercising your eyes, closing one eye, open one eye, finding, trying to uh, concentrating on that front post, those fine motor skills to make sure that learning to shoot with both eyes open is probably one of those things that most people would want to try to do. But our eyes go really, really bad. I tell you what, last night, Heidi and I went to dinner. And then after dinner, I was driving home and I'm starting to see all these starbursts from these glasses I wear because I have astigmatism and the stigmatism bounces off these lights. But I can tell you, I don't see it any other time. But when you start thinking about how much our eyes, the blue lights that we're getting now with our laptop, with our iPhone, with all this stuff, just stressing your eyes out tremendously, it just becomes more and more challenging. The phone screens, focusing on an object near and far. I mean, working with your eyes, getting yourself, and this gives your eyes some time to move around and everything else, and give you some zooming in focus and things like that. So, number 8 would be the vision exercise, and helps you very important. All right. Benefit number 9 would be mindset. Shooting is a very scary and dangerous to some people. And this is true. And I have to kind of pull people off the walls all the time in regards to somebody saying, well, this is a deadly weapon. Is it a deadly weapon? Is a firearm truly a deadly weapon? Or is it just a tool that needs to be operated? But once you take the time to train, your sense of power is elevated and the fear is reduced. This is 100% because we do this every day with students. They come in here, and I could physically. I love this because it's normally a husband and wife, or maybe it's just a woman, or maybe it's just a man who's never shot a pistol before, and they are white as a ghost. You always hear that story about somebody white as a ghost, and they haven't touched a pistol or they haven't shot one before, and we take them back and we hold their hand through the whole process, and then they get to themselves to a position where they're really feeling comfortable at that point in time, and I go back and I look at them and they're totally different color. They've got some the nerves are gone. They're feeling more comfortable shooting. They're doing a lot of different stuff, and they lose their fear a little bit. Now, it's important to realize that you need to respect a firearm, but you don't need to be afraid of it. And if I saw this little picture, I can't do it to I can do it by cutting the T off. That's a pretty cool little picture there because people always talk about, well, I can't load the gun or I can't do this, and we walk them through the processes and help them learn how to do that. It's a can do. It's not a can't do. And that's important that you get your head around. So the mindset to understand that a firearm is nothing but a tool that needs to be operated by the operator. And once you get yourself into that and you developed your mindset to control the gun does not control you. And that's kind of we always talk about. Learning to shoot is a great way to build confidence and courage and courage, which will spill over in many areas in your life. And that's important because a lot of times you get into these places like the gun store or the gun ranges, and there are a lot of friendly people there that want to help you tremendously. You're never alone in a gun store or a gun range because there's always people here that want to elevate. They want to elevate you. They want people just like themselves to be around. And that's the cool thing. The winner mindset believes if it can be accomplished shooter, you can do anything. And I guess that's true. A winning mindset believes that you can accomplish shooting, you can do anything. And I guess that's true. Except eat broccoli. I'm not a broccoli eater. I'm not going to do it. I'm sure Tasha's going to say something about that. She's always trying to get me to eat something green. You don't get this big eating green, trust me. But these benefits will help you tremendously. I work out every day, so this right here is my workout. Doing all these videos and doing all this stuff and talking to students and shooting on a regular basis. Taking a sip here. I apologize. Mm. All right. So let's go to the next one. Benefit number 10 is discipline. Behaving responsibly is a core value of a gun owner. Knowing the four handgun safety rules, uh, always following on and off the range. Gun owners also cultivate a mindset of personal protection, morally and legally responsible for what comes with gun safety is a lifestyle. Keep in mind, guys, the force handgun safety rules start right off the bat with what? What's the first handgun safety rule of all handgun safety rules? If you're saying to yourself right now the weapon is always loaded, or treat the weapon if it's always loaded, you are correct. That's the number one handgun rule of all handgun or weapons are always loaded. If the weapon is always loaded, where's your finger not going to be? It's not going to be on the trigger. It's going to be off the trigger. I told you earlier before you always make a pistol to pick up a pistol, which is making your gun hand make that keep your finger off the trigger, and then always keep the weapon pointing downrange. At your home, downrange is probably on the floor itself. Up, here at the range, it's downrange. You don't turn the gun sideways to get the magazine out. You don't do any of that stuff like that, and then know your target and what's beyond. That's the most important thing. You had uh, you know, Florida allows you to have the concealed without a permit. I would highly recommend you always get yourself knowledge and understand all the rules and regulations, especially if you travel, especially if you have your Florida concealed carry permit, because just because you have all that stuff, you're going to be held to a higher standard than somebody who doesn't have it. So getting yourself uh, disciplined on doing this on a regular. How about discipline on coming to shoot on a regular basis? We got so much stuff dragging us through the weeks that every time we turn around, like today, I got to work. I had to do some paperwork. I still was helping customers. I had two classes, and then one thing led to another. And I looked at the clock; it was 4:30 already. Where did they go? You know what I mean? So it just happens to us on a regular basis. We just went through the new year, and it's 7 days. That was 7 days ago, which is kind of 8 days ago. Excuse me. The time just changes so much. So to be disciplined enough to put yourself in a position where you get to the range on a regular basis. Get to your range on a regular basis and practice all the stuff you need to do makes it a better solution for you. So those are the benefits that I put together, those 10 benefits. I believe that they will help you understand when you come to the range that you're able to do a little bit of each one of these and work on your fundamentals and your strength and your power and all that stuff like that. In conclusion, these 10 benefits of shooting activity have measurable health benefits, both physical and mental. Shooting different platforms of firearm builds physical discipline. That's true. If you think about if you're shooting a shotgun versus a pistol versus a revolver versus an AR-15 or something like that, as well as increases strength, stamina, hand-eye coordination, and fine and gross motor skills. We always talk about everything we teach you here at the range has to be muscle memory. Because in a high stress situation, when you're in a red situation where you have to use your firearm, your body already knows what's happening before you know it. And they're going to shut off everything that they deem not critical. So you're going to have your hand, you're going to have your trigger finger, you're going to have maybe tunnel vision, you're going to have all this stuff. So we need to work so hard putting this whole thing together to become more and more proficient each week. And then if you're coming to the range and you're putting together a program that's going to get you more and more benefits and shooting more and more, it's going to give you that that confidence that you need to have. That confidence that you need to make sure that you know when if something were to happen to you or something you needed to use, you're not going to fall back to your weakest training. I ask you today, when's the last time you shot a pistol? When's the last time you went to the range? Some people on these lives, they're in states that aren't very gun friendly states to begin with, and they don't want you to have. Uh, heard a weird one today. I don't know if it's true or not, but New York just passed something that if you have a firearm, you can't have more than 40 rounds in your home. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the lady was saying today. She's she had her she has her gun permit, but they will not let her have more than 40 rounds in the house, which is kind of a weird scenario, especially when you think about the government, what these people are being protected by. And they're not protected by revolvers, they're protected by the full weapons, especially if any of these congressmen or anything else like that. They're being protected with higher weapons than we're able to. They don't want you to have one, but they sure don't want to be protected by one. So that's my 10 benefits. It wasn't a long video tonight, but I wanted to make sure that we covered these and you get to them. I want to thank you very much for watching this. I want to thank you for your support of my family and my business. And don't forget to hit the subscribe, hit the bell icon, and every time we do one of these, you'll be the first to know. Now we're going to take it back out to here, and we're going to go into our comments and see what we have available there. Um, and let me go back to putting me on the screen here. Move that. Pop. There I am. There I am. All right. So, what'd you think about that? Oh, okay, Chris. Thank you very much, buddy. Chris became a member tonight. Thank you, Chris. We appreciate that very much. That those memberships are very important to us. We appreciate that very much. Yeah, I knew you'd like this, Tasha. I knew you were. So here we go. Matt Wise, thank you very much for being on the at Facebook today. Papa Weasel, as always, my friend. Great topic, thinking in. I appreciate you being there. Miss Tasha, she is why I did this video tonight because she definitely is a badass. She is a trainer. She goes out and does all these stamina classes. She told you guys last week she did a force on force class. She's done rifle classes. She's done training classes. She is a true badass when it comes to it. And I should have took a picture of her arm because her arm is probably instead I did that picture on the internet from some other. Oh no, that's my arm. That was my arm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's kind of besides the making me eat green all the time, she says I need to eat more vegetables, but um, yeah. Linda's gonna go to her. At last, I found a core exercise. That's great, Linda. Thank you very much. I knew somebody would take advantage of this when you talk to your doctor and he asks you if you do any exercise. You're not lying if you say yes. He don't if he starts asking what, You could just, him haw around a little bit, but at the end of it, when he says shooting, he's probably not going to believe you, but you can actually look some of this stuff up. That's kind of cool. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that very much. That was awesome. Danny, that's what Danny, Puerto Rico. Hey, Danny, how are you doing, buddy? I'm glad you're here. Miss Natasha's showing her the arm strength, the power, as always. Scott, appreciate that, buddy. Cape Coral, fantastic topic, John. Thank you very much. I hope it. We each week we do one of these things, and they just hit me. I don't know where. Sometimes I wonder how I come up with all this stuff, and when the fat boy's talking about health topics, people kind of roll their eyes at it, but it is something that I see it. I actually because we deal with a lot of elderly people who are scared what the world is becoming, and to watch them build their strength, their their power, and everything in a very short period of time, you can see how much benefit it's getting them just to get out of the house and do some stuff, right? Golf is great. Golf is expensive. Some people can't walk 18 holes, but you surely can stand here. Now, you come here, guys. We have chairs here. So we've got elderly people that need to sit down when they're shooting. That's okay. I mean, you need it. We've got it because that's the thing that will, there's no reason for you not to be here shooting on a regular basis to get yourself comfortable. And that becomes something you just got to spend some time with, and more you do it, the easier it becomes. And because we're open 7 days a week, there's no excuse why you're not getting here to shoot. And we're not busy. I always tell people we're not a range. We're a training facility. We allow our members and our students and the student people to come here and shoot on a regular basis to build on their. How can I take a class, teach a student to shoot, and tell them they can't come back here to shoot it with us on a regular basis? And because we're small and we're family owned, you become part of our family. Every one of you are part of our family. We would not be here. The Matt Wise, I mean, his family is great. I mean, Natasha, all these people who come here. Chris is a new member. Chris started out blue. He didn't have a clue, man, and he came in. We did a class. We did shooting. He has been just consistent. He's a member here at the range as well as on our YouTube channel, and he's supporting us in many ways, and he is coming on a regular basis and shoots, and he's getting better and better and better. And I always tell everybody, hey man, listen, don't worry about bullseyes right now. Just run the gun and get comfortable. Once you get comfortable, once you build the confidence builds accuracy. And the more you do that, the easier it becomes. It's a system. You got to put the system together: feet, grip, stance, trigger control, sight picture, sight alignment. Press that trigger, don't pull it. If I could have some radio playing in the back all the time and just saying the word over and over and over again, it's press that trigger, don't pull it. Press that trigger, don't pull it. That's all you got to do. You remember that and that only, you're going to be a better shooter to begin with. Because majority of people are manipulating a pistol by pulling it. All right. Yeah, the Natasha says she gets really sad when she has to leave every time at the range. I'm sorry, Natasha. I get sad when you leave too, honey. I miss you. I miss you when you're not here. I miss you when you're not here, and I wish you weren't here when you were here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Natasha. But it's been, you know what? I want to congratulate every one of you tonight, right? Because I saw something on YouTube yesterday or the day before, and it was one of those little. I was on Facebook, and he said the guy's sitting there and he's standing there and he's in the kitchen. He's talking to his wife. He says, "Babe, I'm very proud of myself. I haven't bought a gun all year." So, if you haven't bought a gun in 2024, You're doing good so far. But if you need help with that, you know where to come. And if you haven't learned to shoot a pistol, you need to have a little bit more training. We would love to have you with that too. All right. All right. Well, this weather's gonna get really bad tonight. I don't know if you guys are where you're at or what's going on there, but it's gonna get nastier and nastier and nastier. So help me. What kind of lives would you like to see? You want to? I can't really do any training lives. We got in trouble for cleaning a gun on you and on YouTube. They wouldn't let us do that on live. And training is one of those deals. We got away with one. I'm afraid to try to do any kind of deal like that. But what are you looking for? Give me some ideas. You can always visit our website and talk to us that way, or you can go to our YouTube channel and comment there as well. What's on the list? So we're gonna do a little bit more training stuff as well. So we're gonna give you some more great ideas. All right, so it's about 40 minutes in, 45 minutes in, and I am getting hungry. And I thought I'd tell you guys that I love you very much. You mean the world to me. Every week I do this. I've never been a zeroed out. Someone's been on here to say hello and watch these things. So we appreciate it very much. I've been kind of slacking on the full videos. Uh, we just got inundated a couple weeks ago. People been busy, and I just didn't have time to do what I need to do. But I'm gonna get back to producing one video every week and one live every week, and then I did mention to you guys last time, and we got a couple people commenting on the time of this live. Is it okay? Is Tuesday night 6 o'clock working for us, or could we have done it at a different date and get more people to watch it? I did this through our channel before, and everyone picked this night. Thought it was the best. It got the most. It got the most votes. So you have other comments than that, I would appreciate it. Until next time, guys, I love you very much. I hope you have a great rest of the week. I hope you get out and do some shooting. If you're near us, get your ass here and shoot with us. We would love to have you. Mention that you have we're on the live, and we got a special little thing for you. All right. So just let us know you were here. And Chris, one more time, thank you very much. Chris is one of our new YouTube members, and we appreciate that very much. That what that means, guys, is Chris has put his money's where his mouth is, and he's invested a little bit of cash each month to support us, and we appreciate that very much. Chris Welch, how you doing, buddy? How's the family? I am glad that you are here. Thank you very much. Hope I heard the grandbaby was a little sick. I hope he's doing better, and I hope your family is blessed this year, buddy. You went through a tough couple years there with the hurricane and the family being sick. So I hope everything works out for you, Chris. You're the best, buddy, and I hope God blesses your family. Thank you, Chris. All right, so no more comments, no more L. I'll do like this at the casino. We drop our hands before we close the thing. And we're going to end the screen. I'm going to pop one of the banners in, play the music. Play the music. End screen.